Hello and welcome to episode 78 of Prosperity by the Pine. I'm your host, Brice Carter, certified financial planner, chartered financial consultant, certified investment management analyst, and self-proclaimed millennial money expert. This is a podcast where we talk about money, investing, business, and life success, all while having a cold beer. First things first, cold beer of the week on this beautiful day is Hazy Hiker, Hazy Double IPA from Big Lake Brewing out of Holland, Michigan. I think my sister got this for me, so let's give it a shot. I've never had it before. It says it's hazy, so I'm not going to pour it in a glass because we already know what it looks like here. Cheers. That is, it's not very hoppy. It's got like a weird fruit, not fruit, like a sweet taste to it, almost like a bubble gum or cotton candy flavor on it. It doesn't finish real hoppy. It's just kind of candy-y. It's weird. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not what I expected. I could do that with that's a dessert beer is what that is. All right. This episode, I'm going to be talking about avoiding family money fights and organizing your affairs. So this is kind of two topics molded into one because they're so related. And I'm going to use a lot of anecdotals, stuff based on my experience working with clients and family different experiences and things like that. So depending on your age, you might not think that organizing your affairs and avoiding family fights, is really relevant to you. But I'm going to disagree because one, it's going to be relevant for you, even if you're young. If something happens to your parents or your grandparents and you have siblings and you're dealing with those kind of money issues, you're also going to deal with money arguments as it relates to your own household and working with your spouse or your significant other, whoever it may be, on how you're going to be spending your money. So it's relevant. It's relevant no matter your age group on trying to avoid family money squabbles and making sure your stuff's in order. Get your shit and affairs in order. There we go. With regard to your parents and grandparents, it may be uncomfortable to have these kind of conversations with them, and I get that, I do. So only do it if you're comfortable, but making sure that they're organized, not so that you can inherit money, but that way they can avoid their legacy creating problems. And that's what this is all about. Is nobody wants to see family fight as a result of money. It's just that simple. So the first thing I wanted to address with this is having yourself organized personally in your financial plan, right? So what that means is, obviously in the rare incidents where you might get sick or pass away early or you're in an accident, you're incapacitated, whatever it might be, you want somebody to be able to help financially, right? You want somebody to be able to help you manage those kind of things. And so making sure that you're organized allows for that. But also making sure you're organized puts you in a better position to succeed financially. And here's why. Is if you have a better idea of your income, your expenses, your investments, how your investments are doing, what your insurance plans are, you know where you're spending too much money or not enough, you know whether you're saving enough. It's just being better financially organized allows you to succeed better financially. And some people have an aptitude for this. They make spreadsheets and they have spreadsheets on spreadsheets on spreadsheets, and they use Quicken or QuickBooks for their personal finances, let alone their business finances. And some people have an aptitude for it and they have an interest and they're obsessed over it. And for those people, good for you. This might not be the most enlightening episode for you, just other than to say is if you're doing that, great for you. If you're not tracking your money in, you're not tracking your money out, you don't know how your investments are doing, you don't know how much you're saving, percentage or dollar amount per month, you're less organized on your finances and ultimately are going to be less successful. Because the fact of the matter is anything you do in life, whether it's working out, I'll use the gym as a perfect example. If you track your progress, if you write that this week I benched 200 pounds for 5 reps and next week I did 205 for 5 and next week I did 210, you are tracking your progress and you can be intentional. You can make a plan and design around that. Same thing with your finances. If you're saving $200 each paycheck right now and you want to save $250 next paycheck, what are you going to cancel out in your life expenses wise to make sure that's there, right? So the first thing about this is just get yourself organized. But then there's another, with your financial plan, there's another level to that. And that's writing things out and sharing things. So sharing things with somebody that matters, or at least telling them where they can find that information since something happened to you. So we have a piece at my company, Financial Strategies Group, holding it up. It's called Final Reflections and Information for Your Loved Ones. And so I give this to many of my clients as I meet with them. We just got it out, last quarter or so. So as I'm meeting with clients, I'm giving this document to them. And what this is a organize your entire financial life couple of pages. And so what it does is says the first page of it covers who to call. So if something happens to me, who is my attorney? Who's my financial planner? Who's my insurance agent? Who's my accountant? Where do I bank? Who's my banker? And then it goes into personal information. So anybody that's handling any of your financial affairs, even if they have written permission to do so, is going to need certain information: your social security number, date of birth, driver's license number, where to find your driver's license. Obviously, they're going to know your address. But then take a step further than that is a lot of times you need logins. You need to be able to log into somebody's bank account in order to help them manage that and check and make sure the balance isn't getting depleted or whatever it may be. They need to be able to get the login for that. How are they going to log in for that is they need the answers to your security questions. So those are the things you want to write down. Passwords and logins and things like that. That's actually, I would argue, one of the most important things on here is keeping that login information up to date. So what this is for is not just any active, young, professional, adult person working, but this also matters extremely for our parents and grandparents, the baby boomer generation, and certainly the silent generation. Now, what I'm talking about here is not legal documents. Those are obviously important as well: a will, a trust, powers of attorney. What this is I have all my legal documents done. Here's where they are, and also here's where all my accounts are, and I've updated the balance once a year by going into this document, okay? And here's where it's saved in the gun safe or whatever, in the important documents safe, and this is the password, and somebody has access to that information. So it also goes through other things, right? Like, where are those legal documents? What income sources do I have? What pieces of real estate do I earn? I can't tell you how many people have cabins up north and they have no idea where the deed is for it. They don't know their mortgage balance. They don't know those kind of things. And that's important stuff. Insurance policies, I could probably look it up when I'm doing the podcast episode, but there is, in the state of Michigan, there's unclaimed life insurance to the tune of a couple of $1 billion, because people get a $10,000 policy or $5,000 policy or $50,000 policy through their credit union, or their parents bought it for them and they forgot about it, or whatever it may be, and it's unclaimed. You need to track that stuff down ahead of time so somebody's not forced to put those assets through probate at a later period of time, because probate actually costs 1 to 5% of a person's assets in order to get through it. So if you're talking a $10,000 policy, you're spending a fair bit of time and money just to get one small $10,000 policy that may be divided up between 5 grandchildren. It's just not worth it. Get yourself organized. So talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents about these different things. And so it continues to go on through personal assets, cars and automobiles, digital assets, the logins, where the debt is, additional information, and then a message to loved ones. So this is a document I'm willing to send to you as podcasts of listeners. It's a booklet. It's really nice. It's really helpful. Help get your life in order. Just send me a message at Prosperity by the Pine on Facebook, or shoot me an email, Brice, Brice, at fsgmichigan.com. I'm happy to share that with you and send you a copy of that, help you get your stuff in order. So in addition to reaching out to me or the Facebook page with regard to getting this free guide, there's a couple other resources I've offered up through the podcast throughout my time of doing this, and so I'm creating a special little hidden website page for listeners of the podcast. So you would go to fsgmichigan.com/PBP. That's like Prosperity by the Pine free guides. So fsgmichigan.com/PBP free guides. That's there for download. Of course, we can send one to you. So the second part of this, in addition to organizing your finances and getting your affairs in order, would be how to avoid family money fights. So again, this is kind of a two-pronged topic. How do you avoid family money fights right now in your working, living, breathing, budgeting, household life, and how do you avoid it for you as an heir or for your heirs? So the first thing, And this is in your everyday life. Communication is key. You guys have heard me say this a bunch. People don't talk about money enough. You got to talk about your budget. You got to talk about your goals. You got to talk about, how you're going to your shift your finances over time. You got to have those conversations. And if you're not getting intimate and in detail with your budgeting life, you're going to have family money fights. That's just no way about it. The other thing I'll tell you is that I've only seen, and I've worked with hundreds of couples on their personal financial plan, I've only seen one or maybe two where they keep their money separate and it works out better for them. Almost always it works out worse because his and hers money, or his and his, or hers and hers, or whatever it is, if you are keeping your money separately, you end up not having a cohesive goal. And so his money ends up getting spent on snowmobile stuff, and her money ends up getting spent on ridiculously priced shoes. Not to be stereotypical, but that's what happens, right? So you've got to be on the same page. You got to pool your money together. If you're a married couple, there's a reason that you got married, and money and trust of money should be one of those things that's not a barrier to working together on budgeting and these kind of things. So that's how to avoid it there. The biggest thing with that is obviously just communication, establishing goals, agreeing upon those goals, and then making action steps for them. It's simple. People don't do it, but it's simple. The second part of this is how do you avoid family fights and squabbles when it comes to an inheritance? So I will tell you, and this is purely anecdotal, my experience on this is that it primarily comes from not like, my brother got 1% more of the life insurance as a beneficiary than I did, or vice versa. It comes from almost always two sources. And the first one would be a sentimental gift, and the siblings cannot get along about who's getting that. So that might be like, dad's hunting rifle or mom's wedding ring or something along those lines. And so it's not the $500,000 IRA that's getting split three ways. It's the $1,500 hunting rifle that dad got from grandpa, that got from great grandpa, or mom's wedding ring that's a quarter carat that you might have a much nicer one now, but somebody else wanted it. So that's one way. The second way, and there's a third, so I'm going to talk about that too. The second way would be is if you have an aging parent and one of the siblings does a significant amount of the care. They're missing work to take mom or dad to the doctor. They're spending time there cooking and cleaning for them and maybe helping them bathe or whatever it might be. And so they're taking, there's a significant impact on their own personal life and well-being in order to take care of mom or dad. And there's going to be a fight at some point there about, well, like, I haven't worked in 3.5 years because I've been taking care of mom, but the money's split three ways. That's not right. Something along those lines, right? This is purely anecdotal. I'm just thinking of experiences that I've seen play out with clients. And the third way would be the spouses. So you and your siblings inherit some money from mom or dad or whatever, and your spouses, so the brothers and sisters-in-law start getting involved, and they're wanting things from mom's house as you're cleaning it out or whatever. That is where tensions get high. So this is my best advice on these different things. One, it's tough to talk to mom, dad, grandpa about this kind of stuff. But if you can and you're able to have those conversations, the first thing would be you got to keep stuff organized. We don't need to keep 40 years worth of statements. Let's just keep, a year-end statement each year. Let's catalog these assets. Let's make sure our stuff is up to date, like our wills and our trusts and those kind of documents. Let's keep our stuff organized. But the second level of that is get ahead of it. Get ahead of some of these things before the time comes, like dad's rifle. Brother, you might get the rifle. I'll get the bird hunting shotgun or whatever. I'm talking from personal experience on some of these things. Is like you shouldn't fight about these they're things, they're stuff. They may be sentimental things and stuff, but you shouldn't fight about those. There's much more important things. Family is much more important. You got to get emotions and spouses out of the way. So there's spouses that can be very helpful, but there's also in-laws. You might love your brother, but you might not love your brother and your sister-in-law. And no offense to any of my sister brother-in-laws, but just example-wise, right? So the direct family should be handling this thing because in-laws make things complicated. The next level is just to remember when you get to that situation and you're saying, this is how we're going to handle things, or grandpa or grandma or whoever is saying how you're going to be handling things, is that at the end of the day, money is replaceable, objects are replaceable, your family relationships are not. And so you got to keep those intact. Some little things here that help do that is staying organized and making sure affairs are in order. Before I let you go, I want to give this beer one more try, because it's just a weird flavor. So I'm going to give this one more try here. It's like cotton candy. I'm going to call it a cotton candy IPA. That's what they should have called it to begin with. I'd drink it again. As the time of which I'm recording this, I kind of wanted to be talking about the election, but we don't know who won yet, and we're going to probably know by the time the episode drops. So I'm not going to talk about that at all, maybe in a couple of weeks here, but I digress. That's this week's episode of Prosperity by the Pints. Don't forget to subscribe, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen. That's where we are. Cheers. The topics that I discuss in this podcast are meant to be general information and educational only. I'm not giving you specific advice because I don't know you personally. In order to give you specific advice, you should work with an advisor, someone that can learn your specific situation and give you advice that applies to you. If I talk about a specific security, please keep in mind I'm not recommending that security. And don't forget, investing involves risk. When you invest, there's always the possibility of losing capital, which is why you should consult with a qualified, licensed financial advisor prior to investing.